This USFL Picks edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is presented by WynnBET. Bet $50 at WynnBET and get $200 in free bets. Bet big, win bigger with WynnBET. Download the WynnBET app now or visit wynnbet.com and start winning today. We're also brought to you by Sleeper. You already play fantasy on Sleeper, but now you can win cold, hard cash with their over/under game. Just head to sleeper.com/SGP on your phone to join the SGPN group, and Sleeper will automatically match your first deposit up to $100. That's sleeper.com/SGP. And make sure to download the SGPN app for all of our free picks and podcasts.
This is Brian Bosworth, aka The Boz, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, brother. Peace out. Boz out.
It's the best one.
Cox. He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog. Sup, dude? I realize Colby's not fully in frame. That's all right. Sorry, Colby. It's that tight jersey you got right there. Bring him on officially.
Joining us on the Sports Gambling Podcast, host of the USFL Gambling Podcast, Colby Dant, aka the Dantabase. What's up, Colby?
Well, Ironhead Hayward jersey on, nominated for the College Football Hall of Fame candidate. His son, Cam Hayward, you guys might know him. His son, Connor Hayward, you might know him. Both Pittsburgh Steelers. There's also a Craig Hayward Jr. out there. Good God, he's on the Mount Rushmore of football. You know, there's Ray Nitschke, there's Mike Ditka. You know, there's
Tom Brady.
Night Train Lane. No, that's
whatever.
No quarterbacks. Quarterbacks aren't football, Sean.
Regardless of the level I put Colby at pre-show,
yeah,
he blows by it every time.
Just
especially you see his hands.
You
see his hands. He's wagging the tail. YouTube.com/Sports Gambling Podcast.
But Ironhead, what's with this thingy? Do you know that one? You know what I'm talking about? No. Gosh, you guys disappoint me.
Sorry, I was thinking about how I was going to throw a plug to the Hockey Gambling Podcast. Just cause.
Yeah,
that's what I'm doing.
Hockey Gambling Podcast, Stanley Cup Final are almost here. It's what is it? Eastern Conference Finals. Rangers Lightning has been a great series. The Hockey Slack channel, I think we got to give them like Slack channel of the month. Those guys they get real. It's real lively in the Hockey Slack channel. They were even talking about going over to the NBA channel and harassing them. I really like that the kind of mojo they got.
It's like Anchorman with the other news to a little backroom brawl.
I like it. They're pitting the Slack channels against each other. Hop in sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Slack. We're streaming live on YouTube. We're going to be talking USFL. Colby is my dad 420.
Oh, welcome back.
Yeah.
He said, smells like home in here. Shout out to Colby is my dad 420. I feel like it's been a while since we saw him in the live YouTube chat. Hopefully everything is going all right for you. And hopefully you're getting down on that sweet win bet. Again, bet 50, get $200 in free bets. What a promotion. And for every $500 you bet on sports or in the casino between now and the end of July, you get entered to win the ultimate fantasy football draft experience at Encore Beach Club, including 2-night stay at Wynn Resorts for you and your entire league. Multiple entries are allowed. Just click the opt-in over at WynnBET. And of course, they got USFL lines. You also got the party with DJ Diesel, aka Shaquille O'Neal. Those entries, you only need to bet $100. Every $100 you bet, you got an entry. Meet and greet with DJ Diesel,
The Big Aristotle,
the star of Shazam, the guy who endorses the General car insurance, does it all. Offer subject to change. Terms and conditions at WynnBET.com. Must be 21 or older and present in the state where playthrough WynnBET is available. If you're someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. All right, gonna talk USFL picks, then get to some USFL DFS. But let the touting session begin for one Ryan Real Money Kramer, 4-0 straight up, and 4-0 against the spread. Hit the lock. I also go 4-0. Hit the lock. Colby, nice guy. 2-2.
Didn't lose your money. Didn't lose your money. All right.
Well, there is a thing called the Vig Colby. So,
well, if you did my DFS play, then you won money back. How about that? Boom!
And shout out to Justin Mark, aka J Mark, who has been helping us behind the scenes with some DFS picks. I know I was had a really good lineup going with all those Generals guys. I mean, if you watch the week 8, you had to have the Kukas Colburn stack because the Blob and the Stars ran buckshot on the Panthers 46-24, including like a 89-yard run,
80-yarder. It
80-yard scramble by Kukas, and it was how did that guy not get tackled?
Only Jeff Fisher. This reminded me. Jeff Fisher's protege is Buddy Ryan. This reminded me of Steve Bono was the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs on a 4th and inches at the Arizona Cardinals. You could we got to find this on the internet because he does a bootleg and he runs for like 75 yards and no one's like the Cardinals completely sell out. And it's almost like the cartoon background.
I'm watching this now. Yes.
Yeah, the cartoon background is repeating, and it takes like 12 minutes for him to get to the end zone. It reminded me of that. But Cookies is a little bit more of an athlete than Bono, a little bit more. So he got there a little faster.
A soft C there? It's not caucus.
Cookies.
Okay, maybe it's Eastern European.
But Kramer, you were in second place in the big USFL DFS contest.
That's what happens
for a little while. The sweat was real for Kramer.
That's what happens when you load up with 5 Generals and they play on the first night. So yeah, it was fun to be in second place. I either finished right outside the cash or right inside the cash with that lineup. Definitely, I think I only got like 2 more points because my 2 guys on Sunday did next to nothing. I think Bug Howard was
Colby,
one.
you were telling me you had a sweat. What was one of your lineups almost cashed big? You had a late scratch.
And by the way, to the listeners, come play DraftKings USFL with us. We tweet this out from at USFL Gambling every week. I had to take down J Mark. Shout out to J Mark. I'm sorry, dude. Took you down. But yeah, man. In one of the main
throwing
ones.
out a free plug there for is that what's going on?
We'll beep that out.
Did we talk to legal about getting clearance on that?
Please bleep that out.
In one of the main ones, I was in 4th place with one guy left. Where I thought
how'd that finish out for you?
Well, Mark Thompson ended up not playing for the Houston Gamblers, so I put up a fat goose egg on the last player. I don't know. Look, I don't get it. Why not play him? There was no speculation about him being injured prior to that. That's the problem. I think looking at this week's DFS is, the Gamblers, they didn't play Isaiah Zuber last week. Clayton Thorson was out. So you kind of saw them just trot out a bunch of.
You're saying the fix is in?
No, yeah, pretty much. I'm saying that these rosters, it's something to pay attention to with DFS this week, and handicapping these games are the starters going to be playing? We saw that with Vic Bolden. He didn't play for the Birmingham Stallions.
Yeah, what happened?
Part of my lineup, I switched to Marlon Williams. I found that out late, like right before the kickoff.
I missed that text.
So I got to get in the USFL Slack channel, Ryan. Breaking news, and sportsgamblingpodcast.com has a bunch of injury stuff. Do we want to talk USFL futures before we hop in to the week 9 picks? Because
hold on, still got 8-1 on the Generals. How's that looking, Sean?
Almost as good as my 18-1 for the Philadelphia Stars.
Mine's better.
Ever since that retreat with Blob,
yes,
they've been red hot.
Ever since me and Blob went south of the border. No, it was very obvious.
Whoa!
It was very obvious the Stars are going to make the playoffs. The Stars and the Generals now have locked up their playoff spots in the North, which makes these games tough to handicap because you really have no idea to what extent they're going to play starters. But then a lot of these teams
don't have a ton of
they don't have depth and their backups are banged up.
Look at what Houston just did. Houston basically trotted out a new team.
Yeah.
But they're not playing for the playoffs.
But they were eliminated. But there's a
eliminated.
lot of teams that have been eliminated. Almost half the league now.
So Panthers, Maulers, and Gamblers have been eliminated. Stallions have clinched in the South. The only playoffs there are 4 playoff spots. We're 2 weeks out. There's only 1 spot left. And it's going to come down to the Breakers or the Bandits who play this week. So obviously that one's easier to handicap in the sense that we both know maximum motivation, but also like.
Have the Generals clinched the 1 seed?
I mean, it doesn't matter.
Does it matter?
It's in Canton, Ohio.
Yeah, I guess so. But they could lose both their games, and the Stars could win. I don't know what the next tiebreaker would be, but they would at least be split head to head.
I don't think it matters.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, and that's
there's no home field.
Well, you saw it with Vic Bolden not playing for the Stallions. I wonder if you're one of these teams that have clinched. You're in the USFL. What are you doing? Well, do you think these guys want to rest? If I had a bye, if I had a youth soccer tourney and we had a bye situation where I was like, well, let's just rest here. We don't need best players. You don't have to play this game. They'd be like, F you, coach. I'm playing. These guys aren't sitting down. Well, that's why I was impressed with the Generals last week. They didn't have to, and Luis Perez played the whole game. Darius Victor played the whole game.
They didn't have to. They're playing in the USFL. They have to.
They're playing for their lives.
Why did Birmingham not play Bolden? I mean,
they're out of their fucking minds. They haven't achieved anything. They're in the US. No disrespect to the USFL, but they're in the USFL because they want to do something more.
All right.
No one's there because they're like, yes. Made it to the top of my mountain.
This is interesting to me. The odds to win.
Colby said I. This is the top of Colby's mountain.
The USFL futures to win it all. Bandits at +750, Stars at +500, Breakers at +300, which is crazy because the Breakers haven't clinched a playoff spot. Like the Stars have clinched a playoff spot. They're in the playoffs. Breakers could very easily get knocked out of the playoffs. And they're +300.
They're head to head this week with the team they're competing with. So.
I mean, I still don't understand how the Stallions are the favorite still.
Stallions are +175. Generals are +275. Kramer, we kept talking about this. I think there's definitely value in, even if you're just coming in late. Now, obviously you should have got Generals 8-1. You should have got Stars 18-1, but even for the Johnny come latelys, taking a unit, put it on the Stars, taking a unit, put it on the Generals. They're going to play each other in the playoffs. So worst case, you're either sitting at essentially a +175 with the Generals or a +400 with the Stars going into a championship game. I mean, there's a world where the Generals are favored, or if not, they're a very small dog. +175, I can almost guarantee you is going to be a better price than you'll see in that championship.
So in the first game they played, the Stars were favored by 1.5. This was week 3. So I think since
wait, the Stars were favored.
Yeah,
you're talking about Stars Generals.
Yeah. The Stars and Generals played week 3. They were Stars were favored. Since then, we'd say the opinion probably has changed. Where the Generals would be what 3-point favorites,
maybe even more. I feel like that they're a bad matchup.
Minimum
for the Stars,
3-point favorite, and then the spread against Birmingham last time they played was 3. The Generals, that is. So let's say it's +3. That's gonna come out to about a +260. On a mechanical parlay.
Well,
you're getting a better odds right there because I think Sean's walking down the road of why you can still invest in both teams. Right?
Yeah.
And so the second part of it is then, yes, now once you have the +275 and you have the was it 750?
+500.
+500. You are sitting in it. Now I will say you do lose that extra investment in the Stars, if like for example, so the +275 goes down to 175, thus making it a worse price than the mechanical parlay in that case. If you were to do it by its, you know what I mean. So that being said, I don't know why we think the Stallion side of the bracket, like if you have one of the teams playing at a plus at greater than the plus probably 260 price,
and there's a chance the Generals end up being the favorite in the championship game. One, if anything happens to the Stallions, or if somehow the Stallions get upset in the first playoff game.
And I just think anyone that's been watching the league, the Stallions have not, to me, really impressed the past couple of weeks.
They started fast, and like, they haven't been like the Generals have gotten better each week.
Breakers couldn't make a field goal, or they would have lost. I mean, yes, they should be credited. They're undefeated. Shark Dog's back. We love Shark Dog, but at the same time, I do think they're a little fugazi.
Kind of mailed that in. Not diamonds. Yeah. So I would agree with you. I think there's two good teams, and I think we'll see. It's only fitting, Colby. Did you know the first game of the USFL season was the Generals and the Stallions?
Yes.
How far we come?
Could it be the first and last game?
But hold on, man. The Stars are getting a lot better. Blob, ever since they went on that retreat, I don't know how many margaritas Blob had with stacking the money here, but they came back with a plan. And I can tell you, Case Cookies looked pretty fucking good last week.
Look, yes, but that's what the Stars have done. They've looked good against bad teams, and when they face up against a good team, they
18-1.
But they've been hot. They've been hot. I do think that the Generals match up well because the Stars' run defense has been bad. That's the Generals' strength is their run game. But Stars, Andrews has got them playing much better than they were earlier in the year.
Last thing I'll say, besides like pointing out the point differential that they finally cleaned up with a nice tidy blowout. How many playoff teams? If we just assume Tampa's not going to make it, how many playoff teams have the Stars defeated this regular season? So Generals, Stallions, and Breakers.
I don't think they beat any, right?
They haven't beat any.
Yeah.
How do they have 5 wins then? They've just beat the Gamblers.
Yeah. They beat the bad
All
team.
right. Well, come on.
But you got to remember they
can only play the teams in front of them, right?
No, again, I'm just pointing out when they faced the team that is going to be in the playoffs, they've lost.
But
you can't ignore that.
They had adversity. Their quarterback got out for the year. Cookies is coming into his own.
That's fine. I'm just pointing it out. It's just, we like to trade in data here at the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm just sharing data with the great fans.
All right, we're going to get to the picks. Before we do that, shout out sleeper.com/SGP. Of course, you already probably have the Sleeper Fantasy app. Awesome app to play fantasy. We use it for our SGPN Dynasty League. But now you just click that over under game, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're getting into sweet player prop parlays. We gave out our favorite picks on the NBA Game 3 podcast. Check that out on YouTube or Apple Podcast. Still a chance to get in on those if you're listening live before the game tips. So much fun. I've made a nice little bundle over on Sleeper. And best part is sleeper.com/SGP 100% deposit bonus up to $100. Sleeper.com/SGP terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. First game, Panthers home dogs. I always like that joke. New Jersey Generals laying 7.5 -350 on the money line. Panthers +270 total sitting at 46.5.
Two ways to play this game, Sean.
Yeah, what is that?
You take the Generals or you pass.
No, we do not allow passing. Generals
take the Generals.
Generals beat the Maulers 29-18 last week. Darius Victor, another big game for him, running back for the Generals. 3 rushing touchdowns, 17 for 87.
MVP of the league if I had to vote today.
Well, and of course, he's a running back. You would never give that to a quarterback, even though Kukas, I think, comeback player of the year. They're calling Case Kukas the next Nick Foles. I mean, a Philadelphia team loses their quarterback. No one believes in him. They're calling him Big Dick Kukas around.
Could Case Cookies start for the New York Giants?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
No, that's insulting to Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor, if he wasn't held back by certain political views Giants ownership has.
Wow.
Well, we'll say that for another podcast.
How about this? Last year, could he have started for the New York Giants?
100%.
Wow.
Panthers defensive tackle Ethan Westbrooks. He has a 91.8 PFF defensive grade, highest mark from week 8. This Panthers team is hilarious on so many levels. Wait, were they the ones that tried the 61-yard field goal? Okay, so they were down like 16.
Well, no, Pittsburgh did it last week, but 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
yes,
sorry.
Yeah.
They did try like a 63-yarder and the guy hit it. This is insane. I kind of think. Maybe I'm getting too cute here. I'm kind of thinking of taking the Panthers +7.5 because they've shown the ability to hang around against teams that are obviously better. And I know the Generals look like they're going to be playing their starters and stuff, but at some point they got to take the foot off the gas a little bit in the second half and backdoor this, or is that getting too cute?
Paxton, Lawn Chair, Lynch starting for the Panthers.
What was the score last week?
They lost. I don't know, like 40 to what was it? 40 to 18.
If you're gonna sell me on the Generals are gonna rest, they're gonna do it next week against the Stars because they play the Stars 2 weeks in a row.
That's true. You're right. They're probably looking at that.
This is a tune-up. This is an absolute This is a let's get right, man. Like if we're right this week, maybe we get a little rest next week. I still don't think you rest your guys, but you can't.
Well, there's a difference between
back the Generals.
There's a difference. There's a difference between resting guys and them kind of taking their foot off the gas in the second half. Like maybe they don't even bring in the other guys, but they're just less aggressive naturally, not playing as much defense. You talked me into the Generals laying 7.5, but again, this is what we talk about. These week 9 USFL games are just tricky. They're a handicapper's nightmare, Colby, because none of these. I mean, not only do they not matter because it's the USFL, but they really don't matter because of the playoff situation.
Luis Perez,
and I love the USFL. I'm having fun.
General Perez, getting it done. 18 of 24 last week, 220 yards, 75% completion percentage. I'm sorry, Sean. In a league like this, where quarterback play is where it should be. Right, where it's very rarely that they get over 50%, 75%. Luis Perez, 9.2 yards of completion.
That actually is pretty good.
I'm gonna take General Perez to get it done again.
The NJGs, they at least own the New Jersey name. They're not like the Giants and are ashamed to call New Jersey home.
Wow.
Houston Gamblers. Catching 12.5 against the Birmingham Stallions, plus 435 on the money line. Total is at 43.5. For the first time in Gamblers history, they did not have a halftime lead against the Stars.
Still lost.
And they still lost. I thought there was maybe going to be some weird thing there. Stallions, though, eked out an ugly win against the Breakers. That the Stallions offense has really seemingly lost some momentum. Their defense is still playing pretty good. I mean, they forced 3 interceptions on Kyle Sloter. Gamblers only put up 3 points last week in the loss. To your point, Colby, they just seemed to punt and trot out a completely different team.
Yeah.
I'm scared to take the Gamblers here, but at 12.5, I don't know if this Stallions offense,
right?
I don't think this Stallions offense is clicking enough to warrant laying 12.5 in the USFL.
And we know Victor Bolden's out, one of the more electric players in the league. Kenji Bahar, believe it or not, had a decent game with the exception of just 4 yards of completion.
You're a shit team sympathist, Colby.
He is.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
But come on,
I just
Kramer, you're not taking the.
Houston's horrible.
Dude,
is Kevin Sumlin still the coach?
He is.
Okay.
You got to think that are they going to rest Bo Scarborough potentially for the playoffs?
Why? These guys are in the USFL.
They rested Mark Thompson.
Houston has shown.
Houston's. Listen, and this is what I would say. Bo Scarborough is in a great spot, coming off a game against the Breakers, a good run defense. They gave him 14 carries last week. It was a tight game. I can't. I'll be wrong. If I'm wrong about rest, I'm wrong. But I don't think we're going to deal with a rest situation. I can't take bad teams. Well, that's what we've learned. These bad teams are fucking horrible.
But we've never seen a double-digit spread cover in this league.
Well, that's also probably true.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Houston.
I'm on Houston.
How many points did Houston score last week?
3.
Okay,
but they would have covered the 12.5. Yeah.
They only let up 13, right?
That's because Tampa's offense is trash. Like the worst take of the year was everyone saying
Jordan
Tampa's
offense was. This is unfair.
Safest bet in the USFL.
XFL God Jordan Ta'amu. Oh God, I still remember that the Panthers selected.
Shea Patterson number 1
overall. God bless you, Jeff Fisher. All right, so Kramer, you're sticking with the Stallions. Yeah. Colby and I are gamblers by nature. Give us 12.5 there. Bandits plus 135 on the money line. Total sitting at 43.5. The only relevant game as far as the playoffs. Breakers laying 3.5 minus 155. I'm all over New Orleans minus 3.5 here. Bounce back game for Sloter, aka Sloter Sundays.
Yeah, he's much better on Sundays than Saturdays.
Oh, wow.
He does. It's a big difference. What else do we got here? The Tampa Bay Bandits. They're someone you may want to avoid in fantasy or DFS. They have a 7 wide receiver rotation. They haven't really found.
If you got
Vinny
7,
Papali, they got Papali, man.
They say if you got 7 receivers, you got no receivers.
Exactly.
Shout out to Joe.
Although I do think their running back for the Bandits, Juwan Washington, J Mark was feeding me some good stats on him. I think he's an interesting bring back in DFS, but I think this is a bounce back spot for the Breakers. Sloter has been extremely high variance, thrown a bunch of interceptions. He's the Brett Favre of the USFL. Early Brett Favre, probably maybe some pill and
with Glanville, right?
This is pre-cell phone technology.
Well, let's shout out Joe because he said he's just here for Sean's buzzsaw.
That's the Breakers offense slicing through the Bandits. Give me New Orleans -3.5. The Bandits offense is dog shit. I mean, we just went off on how Tamu's garbage. So
their defense just held the Stallions to 10 points.
Yeah.
That's how I would highlight.
Well, all right. So what are you doing, Colby? What are you doing?
I'm on the Breakers, man. I can't take this Bandit team. But even Houston had a chance late in that game to come back. They squandered those opportunities, but the Breakers still just seem much more ahead of where the Bandits are as a team.
Guys, it's all about favorites in the USFL. Last week, 3 out of 4 favorites. Week before,
I'm probably gonna go 3-4 favorites.
2 out of 2.
You gotta have your one dog in there. Closing it out. The Philadelphia Stars laying 8.5 -380 on the money line. Total sitting at 47.5. Maulers have been a complete disaster. Kukas and the Stars getting red hot. To your point, Kramer, I do think the Stars, if they're going to do a rest game, I think they do it next week, and that's even maybe like the Stars are coming in here getting some momentum. The Blobs heating up. Kukas going off. 5 touchdowns. Stars do have the worst defense in overall PFF grade, but I don't think the Maulers can take advantage with their dog shit offense.
This was the team that they kicked the 61-yarder last week.
The Maulers were down 16 and kicked a 61-yarder with like 2 minutes left in the third to cut it to 13. And now this is insane because
he made it.
Yeah, he made it, which probably encourages
that guy's getting a job in the NFL based on that kick.
Yeah, how are these guys hitting 60-yarders and missing 25-yarders? I still don't understand this. And Pittsburgh's offense has just been abysmal. Kirby Wilson has been a complete disaster. Arguably, I mean, we need to do a USFL awards show, and I think maybe that's what we'll do next week because all the games are going to be pretty meaningless. We should do
the Bandits Breakers could have value.
Yeah, come on.
They're playing this week, aren't they?
No, but I'm saying next week. So if the Bandits beat the Breakers, both teams are still alive for that spot. So, but yes, I get your point.
But USFL award show would be fun. Worst coach of the USFL. Best mascot.
You know who that is.
Worst mascot. That would be fun. Worst announcer though. It's going to be a runaway. Jason Garrett. Colby, what was Jason Garrett's line about Kirby Wilson and Emmitt Smith?
Oh, it was great. He was trying to prop up Kirby Wilson. He said, I played with Emmitt Smith. I talked to him. And Emmitt, when he got done with the Dallas Cowboys, he went to the Arizona Cardinals where Kirby Wilson was his coach, and Kirby made him a better running back. Instantly, I'm getting texts from Patty C, Scott Bowser, saying, "What did he just try to say Emmitt Smith was a better running back with the Arizona Cardinals than the Dallas Cowboys?" Absolutely hilarious. Doing charity work over there is old Jason Garrett. He's a big believer in Daniel Jones.
Why are you speaking that guy's name anywhere near me right now?
Because he's the starting quarterback. You're talking about Jason Garrett. Okay. All right. Time for the lock and dog. Brought to you by Athletic Greens. Love me some Athletic Greens. Love the adaptogens, the probiotics. It just.
Do we handicap the Stars Maulers? Just punting here.
No, Sean just assumed he was taking it. So.
You're right. I completely spaced out on it. Yeah. Philly -8.5.
I just Chalk City over here.
I just kind of basically went off on the Star on how bad the Maulers are. The Stars, to my point, I think they're going to still be playing hard. And to Kramer, like you was saying, I don't think they start resting guys until next week. So give me Stars -8.5.
I think you got to take the Stars. I'm gonna use the quote that I said last week with Roland Rivers. Who knows about his body English, Sean?
Colby
give me the
body.
Stars -8.5. I can't take Kirby. This guy
Kirby
can't.
Wilson,
He shouldn't be a head
come
coach.
on.
He shouldn't be a head coach at a little league level, Sean.
Kramer, you gonna make it? You're gonna go 4 favorites?
I mean,
The battle for Pennsylvania in Alabama.
I know. I've been saying this is a big rivalry spot.
Stars Maulers dates all the way back to week 4.
I knew. Yeah, I mean, look, I know that I was
Revenge
saying
spot for the Maulers.
the bad teams have to be faded,
Yeah.
right? And this, like, is Pittsburgh the cream of the crop when it comes to bad teams?
No, I think
They're not the worst team.
I think they're. The
I
worst.
think they are the worst
I think they're
team,
the
yeah.
worst.
And you would say,
cream of the crop is in the worst.
like the
Okay,
best of
yes,
the worst,
yes.
worst of the best.
Well, I think Kirby Wilson is really the cherry on top of the shit sundae. Like, it's already a giant shit sundae, and then you throw Kirby Wilson on it. It's just chef's kiss. Like, that thing's perfect.
Do we think the offense is just going to keep scoring all these points? Right? Like, I guess, yeah.
I think the Stars could just keep rolling.
They haven't scored beneath, I think, like 35 points the last 3 weeks. So.
I'm gonna be playing 2 lineups, one a Stars lineup and a Breakers lineup. We'll get to that in DFS, but yeah. So we're all on Stars -8.5. Getting back to the lock and dog. Brought to you by Athletic Greens. athleticgreens.com/SGP. Get those high quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source, superfoods, probiotics, adaptogens. Wake up every morning going, God damn, I'm thirsty for some adaptogens. And I fire it up, the Athletic Greens. You can hear the energy in my voice, the excitement. Better gut health, energy, focus, kind of does everything. Athletic Greens has over 7,000 5-star reviews. To make it easy, they're giving you a free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you got to do is go to athleticgreens.com/SGP, athleticgreens.com/SGP to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Colby, you were wanting to chime in there.
Well, I was going to say March 24th, 1984, the Philadelphia Stars beat the Pittsburgh Maulers 25-10 in their first matchup. So know your history, folks. All right, they go back a long ways, guys.
That's probably going to be the score this week, 25-10.
I'm noticing you guys basically copied my picks, but then you took Kevin Sumlin. So losers.
Right. Kramer, I think we had you. What did we do last week? The mojo was.
I'm
good
ready
for
if
us.
you're ready.
Okay.
Lock
off.
Generals.
Okay. What do you got for the dog?
Should I give out Generals to win the USFL for the? No, we'll do a parlay.
Okay.
Generals with
Laying the points.
Yep. With Birmingham
Okay.
laying the points with Breakers
Ooh.
money line.
Okay. Not the 3.5.
You know what? Yeah, no money line. Money line.
All right. My lock. Give me New Orleans.
That's going to be about 5 to
minus 3.5. They're just trying to scare you off with that half point. Square sharps will be all over the Bandits and the supposed
lay the
EV.
3.5.
Supposed EV play. I like Houston plus 12.5, but I cannot predict them to win a game. So I will do a parlay here of Generals money line, Stars money line, and then Houston
I'll price this out
plus
for you.
12.5.
What?
Or no, you know what? No. Sorry, I'm going to redo this.
Redo it.
Okay, just Generals minus 7.5 and Philly minus 8.5 on a parlay. Keep it simple. That's my dog. Colby, what do you got?
Man, I look. I think I agree. I can't take the gamblers on the money line. So the lock is going to be, give me the Generals minus 7.5. Dog, I'll just give out a parlay because I can't take the gamblers to win that.
We're all doing parlays.
Let's
this week,
do
Pay attention.
let's do Breakers minus 3.5.
Oh.
Houston plus 12.5.
Oh.
And let's take Philly minus 8.5.
All right, Colby, that's going to pay you close to 6-1 there.
There we go. There we go.
All right, let's get to it. Our DFS lineups for week 9. Kramer, I'll let you kick it off. What are you doing for your QB?
What do you mean? What am I doing? Give me Luis Perez, 7,700. Save the money here. Spend it elsewhere. I know he hasn't been scoring, but I'm taking my Generals QB.
I'm going Kyle Sloter. Give me the Sloter lineup. New Orleans, the Breakers. He's 11,000. I think it's just a great bounce back spot for him.
Ding, ding, to quote the great Apollo Creed. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Look, Sloter Sundays are magical. In Tampa Bay, last time they played him, what was it, 34-3? Sloter went off. Give me that all day. Sloter Sundays bounce back.
All right, running back, Bo Scarborough.
Yeah.
Bounce back game. No longer playing the Breakers and their tough run defense.
See, I think you got to zag a little bit here, buddy.
Okay, that's why I'm zagging. He had a down week. Only 14 carries, only Houston. 54 yards. They're playing against Houston. They're going to be up. I love this spot. What do they call these, Sean? Smash spots.
Yes.
7,600
Bo Scarborough.
You know, I had Juwan Washington, but I'm going to toss in. I'll go first with. I'm going Colburn once again. Colburn the second again. Like I was talking to J Mark, and he said basically they don't. Their backup's banged up, so they're almost going to have to play him. He's 9,000, but he's just had back-to-back weeks, crazy amount of touchdowns. So yeah, give me Colburn all day at the running back spot. Colby.
Look, I wanted to stay away. So my approach was a bit different this week because I wanted to stay away from games where I thought they might bench players. So I rode the New Orleans game heavy. I went Jordan Ellis at 8,600. I know I have Sloter. You're going to see that theme all over my roster.
All over his roster. Kramer, what do you got? Who's your, and shout out to Zach Maslany in the YouTube chat saying he's throwing Kramer in as his quarterback. Like to see that. That's a sharp play, Ryan.
Yeah, I probably don't have the arm talent I once did, but I'll move a little bit. All right, wide receiver 1. We got to stack someone with Perez, right? So give me Kevontae Turpin again. I'm going back to the well. What did he do last week, Colby? Touchdown, 20 points, not bad. 8,600 last week. This week he is 10,000. So I'm paying up a little bit, but yeah, rolling out my Generals again.
Going stacking up my breakers. Give me Poindexter. Sounds like a nerd, but decent player. $5,400. Yeah, he's a cheaper option as a breakers receiver, and I think they're gonna light him up. So I have Poindexter, and I'll also give out Sal Cannella, aka sounds like someone ate some not cooked eggs. Got a bad case of Sal Cannella, but this guy just keeps getting a ton of targets. Even last week when the Breakers offense was kind of dog shit,
double stack.
Sal Cannella came up big. Yeah, it's going to be a Breakers
nice. I like
print fest. Colby, what do you got?
Print fest.
I went Jonathan Adams, 7,100 for the Breakers. Look, the last time they played, he had 5 for 92, 9 targets. Look, they don't have an answer for this guy. He's one of the best wideouts in the league. I said he's the Harold Carmichael of the league, Sean. 7,100, Jonathan Adams to get it done.
Kramer, what do you got?
Let's see. Okay, I was scrapping around, and so we can have a little exercise. I had 5,000 left. All right, I threw in Redding from Houston just because he's getting targets. They suck. They have to pass the ball. Is that the play? Is there someone else?
Well,
in that?
Kenji Bahar averaged 4 yards of completion last week, so I don't know. If
I mean, he had
necessarily stretching the field.
5 catches for 44 yards, 8 targets.
But still, I mean,
well, then who am I putting in for 5,000 or less?
5,000 or less. Can you?
Bug Howard.
Why don't you save a little money and do what I did with Marlon Williams? Vic Bolden's out. Marlon Williams he was part of that roster that almost had me finish in the top 5 at 6,100.
6,100. I got
the former Golden UCF Golden Knight.
All right, you're talking me into him, Colby.
Wait, I can do this. Let me see. I'm slopping it. I'm taking out Redding. I'm putting in Marlon Williams. I gotta save $1,100. I'll figure this out.
Yeah, you got this.
All right, so I've given out my quarterback, running back, 2 receiver stacks. What do you got, Colby? Do you still need?
I'm the same spot with you. I've given away Jordan Adams, Marlon Williams, my wideouts. Ellis as my running back. Sloter Sundays as my Q.
It's Perez, Scarborough, Turpin, and Marlon Williams. Now we're good. So I have 2 flex in a defense.
Okay.
Victor, obviously, Generals 9,200. I assume you both have him as well.
That's the one. I tried to stay away from guys that I thought, man, they've been killing it. But Victor is their red zone guy. So if he plays, that
He's
offense moves. Yeah. So I'm gonna take Darius Victor at 9,200 as well.
I'm gonna stay away from Victor. I assume his ownership's gonna be through the roof, and just hope for a down game there. But I'm gonna go Marlon Williams with the Stallions.
Yeah.
I like that, especially against Houston's defense. He's 6,100. Colby just laid out a great case for him. So yeah, give me Williams there. And before we close things out, of course, want to shout out IP Vanish. Make your IP disappear. If you're surfing around the old interwebs, you got to get a VPN. You never know what could be happening. You don't want people getting your browsing history, your passwords. Could be a complete nightmare. Hide your location. Again, we use it for God's Eye. You can use a VPN on a Fire Stick, streaming devices like that. 70% off. Yes, please. IPVanish.com/SGP. Use that promo code SGP. Claim your 70% savings. IPVanish.com/SGP. All right, so we each have to give out one more player and a defense, right?
Yeah. Correct.
Anthony Jones, Breakers. I'm going the other guy.
I like it. I thought about
the
doing
split was almost 50-50 last week. He got the touchdown. I like, I'm going to break some news later. I did end up stacking with the defense. I like the running back defense stack here. So yeah, give me Jones from the Breakers, 5,000 fit. He was part of the late swap that got me Marlon Williams. So
Colby, last guy you have, and then
look, Mark Thompson burned me last week because he didn't play. So I'm going to go with the guy that did play, Dev Whaley from Arkansas, the Razorbacks. He had 50 yards rushing last week. We know the Birmingham Stallions give up yardage. They just somehow win the games. So maybe Whaley has a decent game.
It's a nice punt play.
He also had
there.
4 catches. So
it's a nice punt play. Yeah. 3,600.
I know he's going up against the the Breakers run defense, which is pretty solid, but I'm going to take Juwan Washington. Coming off a 20 carry game, I just don't think they have a bunch of other options.
Our gals,
and the Bandits. It's obvious Tamu isn't doing much. So you give me Juwan Washington 5,100 there, and shout out to J Mark there for the tip. My defense closing it out. I have enough to afford all the defenses. Do I go Stallions? To me that seems to be the play. Yeah, against Houston, their offense is really bad. I was also considering maybe Philly or maybe Generals. I don't know. I could go Generals.
I went with the Breakers. They held the Bandits to 3 points last time they played,
and they just held the Stallions. Yeah. They're playing well. Real quick, fun fact, Sean: who's leading the league in touchdowns? Passing touchdowns.
Clayton Thorson probably.
Jordan Tamu.
Really?
He's got 11.
Isn't that a weird league?
They've been down 20, and he pads the stats.
Second in yardage to Slaughter. Crazy.
Interesting.
Slaughter Sundays.
But a lot of that is because like DeAndre Johnson, had he stayed healthy, or Perez had he been starting the whole year, much like Jamar Smith, I feel like their stats would have been
follow up trivia question. How many quarterbacks have played all 8 games?
Well, I think Tamu's the only one that hasn't
Slaughter.
Slaughter got injured a little bit,
but
so
he's played in 8 games.
Lock it up. All right, a lot of fun. Make sure to check out Colby Dant, the college football experience, college basketball experience, college baseball experience, of course, the USFL Gambling Podcast. If you want to go even deeper into the United States Football League, and June 10th, mark your calendars. Only days away. Colby Dant's college football preview series.
All 131 teams, and then like I said, USFL, the playoffs heating up, the Freedom Cup going on July 3rd. Let's go.
Let's go indeed. Thank you everyone for tuning into the Sports Gambling Podcast.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
Make sure you hit the contest tab in the SGPN app. Send in your screenshot of you submitting a review to Apple Podcasts for your chance to win free gear every Monday, aka Merch Monday. For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green, and he is Ryan.
Yeah, shout out that Hockey Gambling Podcast.
Kramer, let it ride.